Welcome back to the JLL coaching pod, episode 31. Just got back from Italia with the crew, 6 of us, Eleanor, her 2 best friends and their boyfriends. It was awesome. It was a pretty active holiday actually. Loads of running and 1 hike and lots of dips in the lake. It was gorgeous. I love Italy so much. You have no idea. The food, the culture, the people, the food mainly, let's be honest. As well as, we were at Lake Garda, which is just, we've got actually one of these pictures here, 2 of these pictures here. This one and this one are Lake Garda. You can't actually probably see that, but it is, because it's the best place on earth. And now back into the swing of things. And it's always, for me, whenever I'm away, I just reflect too much. I think too much about, what I'm doing, where I want to go, who I want to be. And I feel like I'm at a bit of a crossroads, and I'm using the next few weeks to really think things through about, what I want to do. Today, however, we're not talking about that. We're talking about training intensity. Now, this is a topic I am obsessed with. I'm obsessed with it, and the more and more I learn, the more importance I put on it. Now, training intensity in the most just kind of sensation feeling way that you can think about it. It's just how goddamn hard you are doing something. How much intent are you putting into each rep set? Are you giving everything? That's what I'm talking about today. And this has just been on my mind particularly since I came back. Because, I started training again. Got the program up, bosh, I was ready to rock and roll. And I felt like my intensity wasn't there. I gave everything subjectively, and I didn't have the outcomes that I was looking for. Now, outcomes shouldn't necessarily impact the intent that you have going into a set. They probably will in some kind of matter, because if you're so terrible, you should probably just stop training and start again another day. But I wasn't satisfied with the outcomes. And intensity, it's something that, in my opinion, is absolutely earned. You don't have the right to produce intensity if you're not sleeping well, if you're not eating sufficiently, if you're not having a good community and relationships around you. You can train intensely then, of course, naturally, but the cost will be massive on the quality of life. Intensity is earned by ticking these other boxes of sleep, nutrition, relationships. All of these other things enable you to get the most out of your training. And now my personal experience of this was last year, 2023, my training was I hit a couple PBs, but generally I was very dissatisfied with my training. Injured across the board, but life was a lot more stressful, relationships were worse, food was reasonable, but nothing as good as this year. Sleep was poor, whereas this year all those boxes have been ticked. Relationships better, sleep's good, food's been dialed, and the training's been fantastic. PB'd runs, PB'd lifting in the gym, played loads of sports, just had a body that's been extremely capable, and it's the best feeling in the world. And that's been earned through ticking these other boxes throughout life. You've got to earn that intensity. You've got to earn that ability to adapt. Nothing comes free, and that is a huge thing. If you want to get better, you have to get your sleep dialed. Yes, you can still train with intensity, but you probably will not get the adaptations or the changes that you require. Why? Because you need that absolute bundle of energy to actually create a sufficient stimulus for most people. People can get away with it in the short term, but for long-term progress, you need that sleep to be dialed, that nutrition to be dialed, and stress to be managed. That's how you earn this ability to train hard. And And I was actually kind of like, so it's always been in my heart, in the back of my head, that you've got to train hard. There's no way you can get around it. And I always thought I was training hard. I think everyone thinks they're training hard. Everyone thinks that. Everyone thinks just subjectively, they're like, yep, I'm training hard. I've never really heard anyone be like, no, I'm not training hard. No, I'm just chilling. Although sometimes I do hear that. But generally, when people are pushing, well, obviously, people think they train hard, right? I used to think I trained hard. And I think, looking back, generally, I wasn't training hard. And I think it was because I wasn't ticking these other boxes outside of the training life. Having good sleep, eating well, having community, managing stress, good relationships, and having a purpose. These kinds of things enable you to push harder and yield more. And I didn't always have those dialed throughout my life. And I think pursuing those things enables you to work harder and get better results. So I've spoken about before on my episode, how do you know you're training hard enough? That outcomes will kind of tell you, are you getting better? That's the huge point. Are you getting better in the gym? Quantifiably, most important, as objectively as you can make it, are you getting better? If you're not, you either need to train harder. But as I've said, training harder is earned by ticking other boxes in your life. You don't just get to train harder because you want to. You have to organize your life in order to enable you to actually put in that work. So I always just think, just head down, work hard at discipline. But yes, that's a factor. And you need to change the narrative in your head about what hard work is. But you need to set yourself up for success in order to do that. You can't just go, I'm going to work harder today. You need to sleep better and eat better and have all these things that I've spoken about dialed to enable you to actually put in that goddamn hard work. It's so important. And I think if we have this narrative that no matter how hard we think we are working, there is always a bit more to give. If you have that narrative that there's always a bit more to give, it leaves the door open for growth, for progress. Yes, even if you're getting the best gains of your life objectively, there is still more to give. That's why I like to say that. That's why I like to think about that. Is because I do really think there's always more to give. Like, I've worked with some very successful people, and the hours that they put in is unmatched. Like, the hours they put into their work is absolutely unmatched. I'm talking all-nighters, sleeping 2-3 hours a week, still showing up at the gym and working hard and getting results. This is not a long-term thing, but they are getting exceptional results with their work, and training might take a dip for a bit and come back up. So people always think they're working hard. They're working the hardest in the room, whatever. But maybe you are working the hardest in the room, but I guarantee there'll be another room somewhere else where people are working harder than you. So you will subjectively always think you're working hard. But you have to challenge yourself and be very reflective and as objective as possible. Am I really? Or is there something more to give? In Lake Garda last week, I was doing a 5k PB. I was thinking, all right, I want to go out and get a 5 kilometer run, personal best. So I woke up, I was like, yeah, I'll do it today. Had a coffee, and the anxiety, it was literally like a panic attack. I was sweating everywhere. I felt like I had diarrhea. I was like, what is going on? Energy low, just couldn't do it. Absolutely crushed. I was doing a lot of training out there, so it was a bit too much, a bit silly. Next time I tried, next day, same thing happened again. Just like painstaking anxiety. Oh, brutal. But I was like, let me go and do it, and then I have to deal with this. So I went to do it. I was working like a dog, running hard. And I didn't really clock, but I was running into the wind. Now, it's hard to feel like, if you're running into wind, because when you're running fast, there's a lot of air resistance anyway. And my lungs, mate, were just like screaming at me. The pain, it was worse than the marathon. And it was like an 18-minute run. It's not 19-minute run, sorry. So it's not a PB. I missed my PB by about 25 seconds. And I'm blaming the wind. But I was running into the wind and my mouth was dry. My lungs were screaming. First 3K. And then I turned around. And I could feel the fatigue had hit. And I kept going, turned around. And I was just flying. With less effort. And then I saw these flags, because up on the Lake Garda, you've got these like flags and wind things, because everyone's windsurfing there. It's very windy. And I was like, oh, you absolute lemon. I've just ran into fast winds as hard as I could for 3 kilometers of this 5 kilometer PB attempt. And the pain to just hang on these last 2Ks, for me, it's unmatched. Like, just going and running for a long time, I personally just feel like I can run forever. I just know I can keep going. Like, it sucks, it's painful, but it's like a pain you can endure. With this, when you're going all out, the pain is so much higher. And you just got to hang on. It's literally like, I was like, I've got to hang on for this last 2K. And I was like, as I was running. It literally hurt so much. And that was pathetic. I didn't even get the PB. Terrible. But there's always more to give. I know I'm going to go out and try and beat that this weekend. Like, I'm not having that be the narrative of this 5K time for this year. I don't want to make the excuse, and I want to make sure that excuse of wind is true. It felt true at the time. But I'm going to go give that same level of pain and hurt again and try and get this PB, because there's always more to give, and I know I can beat that time. That was so brutal, though. So what's the point of the story? Point of the story is don't run into wind, you idiot. But I need to try and be objective and tell myself that was not even that hard. I'm sure there's more to give. So like, my lungs were hurting, my legs were fine. I'm imagining I could run harder and have my legs hurting as well. I want to get sub 18 minutes. 18 minutes 30 something is my current PB. I want to get under 18 minutes this year. And we'll get that done. Now, what gets me fired up about training intensity is when my biases get confirmed by other people I look up to. So Matt McInnes Watson. He is like a plyometrics dude. He's PhD in plyometrics. He's really popularized plyometrics. He obviously didn't start them, but he's popularized them massively. And he says himself, keep things simple with the plyometric choices, because the fancier you get, the more complex, the less intensity you can put in and the less adaptations you will create. So this is true, I know, in sprinting, in plyometrics, in the gym, and it's a principle. You got to be able to set yourself up to put in some dog hard work, absolute work, to really, really get these adaptations that will make you different. There's no other reasoning. I think about a client, Ignacio. Shout out Ignacio, don't know if you're listening. But last year, he crushed training. But this year, he was working full-time and writing a master's thesis, which is a lot, and he traveled a lot, and he works a lot, and his training wasn't as dialed, and he tells me this. But his thesis is finished, and watch everything change. You need to get your life dialed in to really push training. You have to get these other boxes ticked. You can train as hard as you want, but if you don't have the space in your brain, in your life to push, then there's no hope. it's the same thing with this like expansion compression model. The wider you are, the bigger you are, the more time you have to internally rotate, to push in. It's a principle. How do we objectively measure intensity? Well, I'm big on outcomes. Are you getting better? That's how you know you're ticking this box of intensity. Are you objectively as possible getting better? If the answer is no, then you need to adjust. And I would look at these lifestyle things before you even look at your training. That's a big thing. Other thing, you can get someone there with you in the gym, or send videos to your friends, or whatever. To me, send them through. Am I training hard enough here? Does that look like a RPE 9 out of 10 difficulty on that rep? Yes or no? Ask your friends. Short podcast on training intensity. I hope you enjoyed the pod. Hope you have a great, productive day. And let me know if you have any questions on training. Goodbye.